Hare Krishna, welcome, welcome. We can start with the introduction prayers on page 1 together. Om Jnana Jnana Shalakya Chakshuramlitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stavitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Didati Swavaram Pitam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Bhadakam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganam Radhanam Vikantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadhutam Krishna Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahavina Lalita Shri Vishakam Vidamscha Hey Krishna Anasindhu Dinabando Jagapate Lodesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamchana Gaurami Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Krishna Namaste Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Dhrugascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Today we can look at chapter 11, text 28 through 38. Chapter titled The Universal Form. Starting with text 28, we can read the Sanskrit transliteration together. Yata narinam bhavo bhuvegeha sma samudram eva vimukha dravanti tatatavami narloka vira Vishanti Bhaktranya Vijavanti. Translation. As the rivers flow into the sea, so all these great warriors enter your blazing mouths and perish. Text 29, chapter 11, text 29. Yadaparitam javlalanam patanga Vishanti nashaya samvida vegeha Tataiva nashaya vishanti lokas Tava vivaktrani samvida vegaha. Translation. I see all people rushing with full speed into your mouths as moths dash into a blazing fire. Text 30. Lelihyasya rasamana samanta Lokan samagran vadaner jvalabhi Tejo vira purya jagat samagram Vasastavura pratapanti Vishnu. Translation. O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people in your flaming mouths and covering the universe with your immeasurable rays. Scorching the world as you are manifest. Text 31. Yahi meko bhavan ugrarupo namostute devavara prasida vijnatum ichami bhavantam adyam nahi prajanami tava pravitam. Translation. O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. I do not know what your mission is, and I desire to hear of it. Shri Bhagavanu, text 32. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Halos Viloka Kshayakrit Pravridho Lokan Samahartum Iha Pravirda Te Vidvana Bhavishyanti Sarve Ye Vastita Pratyani Keshu Yodaha. Translation. The Blessed Lord said, Time I am, destroyer of the worlds, and I have come to engage all people, with the exception of you, the Pandavas. All the soldiers here on both sides will be slain. Text 33. Asmat Utishta Yashoda Pasva Jiva Shatun Bhunshva Rajam Smamritham Mayai Vaite Nihata Purvameva Nimitta Matram Babasagya Sachin. Translation. Therefore, get up and prepare to fight. After conquering your enemies, you will enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Sagyasachin, can be but an instrument in the fight. Text 34. Dronam cha Bhishmam cha Jayadrattam cha Karnam Tatanyam Apiyoda Viram Maya Tam Svam Jahima Vyatishta Yudhasva Jeta Sirane Sapatnam. Translation. The Blessed Lord said, all the great warriors, Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, are already destroyed. Simply fight and you will vanquish your enemies. Text 35. Sanjaya Uvacha Itash Trutva Vachanam Keshavasya Kritanjalir Vepa Manaha Kiriti Namaskritva Bhuya Eva Krishna Saragadam Vita Vita Pranamya. Translation. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna trembled, fearfully offered obeisances with folded hands, and began falteringly to speak as follows. Text 36. Arjuna Uvacha Stane Rishikesha Tava Prakirteya Jagat Prarishyat Janurajatecha Raksham Sibitani Dishodravanti Sarve Namasyanti Cha Siddha Sangaha. Translation. O Rishikesh, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid, and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done. Text 37. Kasmaschatena namaran mahatman Gari yase brahmano Gari kartre Ananta devesha jagandivasa Tvam aksharam sat asattat param yat. Translation. O Great One, who stands above even Brahman, you are the original master. Why should they not offer their homage up to you, O Limitless One? O refuge of the universe, you are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material manifestation. Text 38, final verse, text of the evening. Tvam adi deva purusha puranas, Tvam asya vishvasya param nidhanam, Vedasi vedyam chaparam chadama, Tvaya tatham vishvam anantarupa. Translation. You are the original personality, the Godhead. You are the only sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. You know everything, and you are all that is knowable. You are above the material modes, O limitless form. This full cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. We can go back to text 28 now. I'll read the translation and the purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Text 28, translation. As the rivers flow into the sea, so all these great warriors enter your blazing mouths and perish. Text 29. I see all people rushing with full speed into your mouths as moths dash into a blazing fire. Text 30. O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people in your flaming mouths and covering the universe with your immeasurable rays. Scorching the worlds, you are manifest. Text 31. O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. I do not know what your mission is, and I desire to hear of it. Text 32. The blessed Lord said, "Time I am, destroyer of the worlds, and I have come to engage all people. With the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain." Purport. Although Arjuna knew that Krishna was his friend and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was nonetheless puzzled by the various forms exhibited by Krishna. Therefore, he asked further about the actual mission of this devastating force. It is written in the Vedas that the Supreme Truth destroys everything, even Brahma. Yasya Brahme Cha Kshatram Cha Ubhe Bhavata Odanaha Mrityur Yasyo Pase Chanam Ka Ita Veda Yatra Saha. Eventually, all the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and everyone else are devoured by the Supreme. This form of the Supreme Lord is an all-devouring giant, and here Krishna presents himself in that form of all-devouring time. Except for a few Pandavas, everyone who was present in that battlefield would be devoured by him. Arjuna was not in favor of the fight, and he thought it was better not to fight. Then there would be no frustration. In reply, the Lord is saying that even if he did not fight, every one of them would be destroyed, for that is his plan. If he stopped fighting, they would die in another way. Death cannot be checked, even if he did not fight. In fact, they were already dead. Time is destruction, and all manifestations are to be vanquished by the desire of the Supreme Lord. That is the law of nature. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And if anyone has any questions or comments at any time, feel free to interject, or if clarifications, anything like that. Let's see, going back to 28. As the rivers flow into the sea, so all these great warriors enter their blazing mouths and perish. So the rivers flow into the sea effortlessly. When you look at the way the Missouri River flows down, turns into the Mississippi River, and then it flows down into the Gulf of Mexico, entering the oceans. They flow effortlessly, and they can't be stopped. So right now, Krishna is showing on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Krishna is showing his universal form to Arjuna. So it's this huge, breathtaking, beyond your imagination, universal form. It's a form, so it has form, it has shape, but it's universal. It's actually showing everything. It's showing all these great warriors entering into his mouths and perishing. And Arjuna is describing all the things that he saw. Arjuna is like the first one who really got to see this, and so now he's bewildered and amazed. And Arjuna had to have spiritual vision to see the universal form, because not everyone can see it. Krishna gave him the eyes to see this universal form. And the demigods were actually watching from up above. And you can see on plate 31, there's little pictures, these little plates. So on plate 31, you can see the universal form, or a depiction of the universal form. And so it says in the back, Krishna's universal form is displayed to Arjuna. Still, the Lord does not lose his original eternal identity. He remains seated on the chariot with Arjuna. So you can see in the picture that there's Krishna seated in the chariot. While you're seeing all of these amazing, breathtaking, scary things. And devotees aren't so interested in seeing the universal form. It's really it's a form to prove some points, and it proves that he's God, because if one claims to be God, one must show the universal form. And so Krishna is proving to everybody. Arjuna is already a firm believer, but Arjuna, for our sake, is taking part in this conversation. And so Arjuna is seeing the universal form. And we, two-armed form, most beautiful form of Krishna that devotees can see. And devotees usually like to meditate on this form. And they can, maybe start with they might meditate on the feet, the toenails. You can spend a whole class just talking about how Krishna beautifies things like his toenails or the garlands he wears. We could do a whole class on one of those flowers. That's one part of the garland. So Krishna is beautifying these things, and when Krishna wears something, he beautifies it, and he makes it beautiful. It's not like these decorations make Krishna beautiful. No, he's making them beautiful, and it's like Krishna's behind everything in the way that when you see a pearl necklace, do you see the string? You see the pearls, but you don't see the string. So Krishna says, I'm like pearls on a string. He's the string that connects everything together, even though he's not always seen. But how important is he? How crucial, how important is he? Even though, so some things that we can't always see are still important, right? The air that we breathe, how important is the air that we breathe? Yet we cannot see the air. So we have to try to have spiritual vision. We have to try to see Krishna. We have to try to see that he's the framework behind everything. We have to see that he is everything. And he's giving devotees everything. He's even giving them, there's so many atheists out there and they want to forget Krishna and forget God. Well, they can't do that actually without his help. He's actually helping so much that he's helping the atheists forget him. Because even that they could not do on their own. Of course, they don't give him any credit for that, but he is giving the living entities these abilities. Everything we see is actually his property. Everything we see, because we have to. People sometimes will focus on renunciation and renouncing things, and Prabhupada said once, when you leave a room, you could say, like, I renounce that room. But how can you actually say that? Because you don't own it. Actually, how can you renounce anything that you don't own anything? So how can you really renounce anything? So trying to get past mere renunciation and trying to get past sense gratification and gratifying one's senses, Instead, think about, what would Krishna want? What does Krishna want? Krishna's plan. What's Krishna's plan? It's said that the devotee's plan is as good as Krishna's plan. Text 29. I see all people rushing with full speed into your mouths as moths dash into a blazing fire. So I looked this up once, and moths don't actually they don't know that they're going to meet their demise always. It's not like they're suicidal, but they are drawn, they're impelled by their senses. It's like how we are impelled sometimes by our senses to do something in the moment that maybe we regret later. So a moth is so impelled by its senses to seek out heat and light that it thinks it can get close, right? I can get close. No, but when you play with fire, you're going to get burned. And if you're a moth, and you play with fire, you're going to get burned. And so we have to control our senses in that way and not just rush into sense gratification blindly, not just go where the wind blows. We have to be we have to have our anchor out. Hopefully we're in the boat of Krishna consciousness, and we can either travel to our destination or we can have a firm anchor where we're very sound, and we're very sound in our devotional service, bhakti yoga, devotional service, doing things out of devotion, doing things out of the heart, doing things for Krishna, thinking about Krishna. When you wake up, how long before we think of Krishna? How long before we think of Guru? Guru just means teacher. And so Guru, one has to approach a spiritual master to get the really firm teachings. Tadvidi pranipatena, Ude Pranipate Tadvati Pranipatena Mary Prasnana Sevaya Ubade Shantite Jnanam Jnananas Tarpaja Darshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. Text 30. O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people in your flaming mouths and covering the universe with your immeasurable rays, scorching the worlds. You are manifest. So everyone is beholden to Krishna. Everyone is here because Krishna is allowing it to happen. And this human birth is actually a very lucky birth where we have a chance to go back to Godhead. We have a chance to not take a material body again. We have a chance, if we really practice devotional service and remain very steady, then we have a chance to obtain a spiritual body after this body, and a spiritual body that is timeless, that does not meet with death, is beyond the dualities of nature. And even the demigods, they may be living hundreds of thousands of years, but they're still stressed. They still know they have to come down and take a human birth eventually again. So even Brahma is saying, I bow down to Krishna. Krishna is supreme. Krishnastu Svayam Bhagavan. Krishna is the original supreme personality of Godhead. There's no one higher than him. It's very clear. Srila Prabhupada helped make it so clear for us. He synthesized it for the West and for the whole world. Without him, where would we be? We wouldn't know anything we wouldn't know the first thing about Krishna, because he had the ability to create such a program and to bring the philosophy and present it in a way that the whole world can take it and love it. And it's so pleasing when people hear the holy names. You can see the reaction, you can see the effects of the holy names. These are the most powerful syllables in the whole universe, in all universes. This mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. How powerful is that mantra? When you meditate on that and you chant on beads and you chant the mantra, you're associating with Krishna. It's like Krishna is dancing on your tongue, and you're communing with him directly. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that this is the way in this age of Kali, this fallen age of degradation. He said this is the only way. This is the only way in this age of Kali. This congregational chanting of the Lord's name. He said eventually every town and village, this mantra, these kirtans will be happening. And so it's very exciting. The movement is very exciting and wonderful. Text 31. O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. I do not know what your mission is, and I desire to hear of it. So he's seeing this fierce form, and he's saying, what is your mission? I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. And the Blessed Lord said, Time I am, destroyer of the worlds, and I have come to engage all people. With the exception of you, Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain. So sometimes we think, well, if I don't do it, someone else will. And Krishna is saying, no, you do it. I'm clearly asking you to do it. And whether you choose to do it or not, it's still going to happen. So you can choose to be part of my plan, or you can choose to follow mine. Shishi Bonatai, Ki Jai. So, and that purport was so nice. He was puzzled by the various forms. Even Brahma. And even eventually all the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and everyone else are devoured by the Supreme. So there's the four social orders of life. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, and the four spiritual orders. brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. And all those, they're still going to be devoured by the Supreme. Those designations are not from birth. Those are based on qualities. Because you can have someone that was born in a certain birth, but if they follow these teachings, then they are Brahman. And so it's about the qualities, these social divisions and these spiritual divisions. These are very much about the qualities, the gunas of the person, and also how controlled they are by the modes of nature, and goodness, passion, and ignorance. Everything can be classified in those three things: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Sattva, rajas. Sattva, tamas, sattva, rajas, tamas. So Arjuna's just thinking, hey, what about non-violence? Maybe I just shouldn't fight, go to the woods. And Krishna is saying, you just be my instrument. Just be my instrument. And fighting is ordained. If Krishna wants to fight, then Krishna, that is ordained by Krishna. And Krishna comes and he performs his pastimes. His pastimes are actually eternally going on all over the universes. But he came here 5,000 years ago, and he fought the demons. Karna was sending so many demons his way. And Krishna was gladly defeating them and liberating them by their engagement with him. Text 33, therefore get up and prepare to fight. After conquering your enemies, you will enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Savi-Sachin, can be but an instrument in the fights. So Arjuna is the topmost archer. And Savi-Sachin refers to one who can shoot arrows very expertly in the field. We remember there's so many wonderful stories of Arjuna when he was trying to win the hand of Draupadi. And there was a fish on like a wooden turnstile thing, and he had to shoot it, but not just shooting that fish. He had to only look at the water, and he had to look at the reflection in the water and shoot it by that, and no one else could do it, but he did that. And even earlier, when he was training under Sanipani Muni, when Arjuna was training with his guru warrior, he had to, Dronacharya put a wooden bird up in a tree, and he said, whoever can get the eye of the bird, and so first people were saying, Dronacharya would say, what do you see? And the first person would say, I see the tree, and they would shoot and they wouldn't get it. And the next person, what do you see? I see the bird. Okay, then shoot it, and then they would try, and they didn't do it. But then he asked Arjuna, what do you see? And he said, I only see the eye of the bird. And he shot it, and it went right through. So, an amazing archer. Thus, Arjuna is addressed as an expert warrior capable of delivering arrows to kill his enemies. Just become an instrument. Nimitta matram. This word is also very significant. The whole world is moving according to the plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Foolish persons who do not have sufficient knowledge think that nature is moving without a plan, and all manifestations are but accidental formations. There are many so-called scientists who suggest that perhaps it was like this, or maybe like that, but there's no question of perhaps and maybe. There's a specific plan being carried out in this material world. What is this plan? This cosmic manifestation is a chance for the conditioned souls to go back to Godhead, back to home. As long as they have the domineering mentality which makes them try to lord it over material nature, they are conditioned. But anyone who can understand the plan of the Supreme Lord and cultivate Krishna consciousness is most intelligent. The creation and destruction of the cosmic manifestation are under the superior guidance of God. Thus the battle of Kurukshetra was fought according to the plan of God. Arjuna was refusing to fight, but he was told that he should fight and at the same time desire the Supreme Lord. Then he would be happy. If one is in full Krishna consciousness, and if his life is devoted to his transcendental service, he is perfect. Again, the last sentence. If one is in full Krishna consciousness, and if his life is devoted to his transcendental service, he is perfect. So the recipe for perfection is right here in the purport. As long as they have the domineering mentality which makes them try to lord over material nature, they are conditioned. And that means, keeping ourselves in the center and not thinking about Krishna and thinking about what do I want and what is good and what is good for me. And there's a specific plan. And so he says, but there's no question of perhaps and maybe. There are many so-called scientists who suggest that perhaps it was like this or maybe like that. The scientists are changing their minds. You'll see, isn't it every 10, 20 years, big changes in the numbers? What starts out as, it's been this long since this animal's been here, and then they change it. Oh, it's been this long, and constantly changing, and we're supposed to just go along with all of their changes and all of their ideas with their textbooks, and all these textbooks. We can read all the textbooks in the world, but where is the pure knowledge? Where is the philosophy of life? Where is the movement that can take every soul and show them how to be Krishna consciousness, show them how to love the Supreme Personality of Godhead? There's no perhaps and maybe, It's not like when you put a cake in the oven, if everything's working properly, it's not like, well, maybe this cake will heat up, maybe this cake will get cooked. No, it's going to get cooked if it's Krishna's plan. It has a formula, it's a plan. A watch implies a watchmaker. Have you ever seen a watch come together by an explosion? Things don't come together from destruction. They come together through creation, and there has to be an intelligent designer behind it. Just become an instrument. The whole world's moving according to the plan. Yeah, so people are thinking things are happening random, and they think maybe their government is in some control, or maybe their government is behind everything good and everything bad, and they can put so much on the government, but the government might be just a little more chaotic than that. Why is it chaotic? If we had the Vaishnava acharyas at the highest levels of consultation to the government, think how things could be worked out. Think if every country had a Vaishnava leader as a consult at the very top, and then they could all talk together. Because where is the peace in today's world? No leaders seem to be talking about peace. And in fact, the U.S. leader says, no, we won't back down. No matter what, we won't back down. And so they're teaching us that's us. That's us. We don't back down. We're independent. We've got a town called Independence, just a few miles from here, and we've got Independence Day that celebrates the birth, the Janma of this nation. But really, it goes back much further than that. This land goes back much further. And no one's talking about peace, and he's showing us that, no, we don't back down. And so a lot of people are saying, getting puffed up and saying, yeah, we don't back down. Let's go to war. What are the implications of this war, of these wars? Things can really change in some scary ways if the fires of war don't get cooled. But it seems like our leaders are hell-bent on war and and control and my way or the highway type thinking. And this nation was founded on God. But do we hear the leaders talking about God very much? We don't hear. A lot of times they might think, oh, I might lose, part of my voter base. But we have to bring God back into the discussion. We have to be willing to talk about God, to be talking about Krishna to a stranger, to anyone, and never feel uncomfortable, because once they hear the mantra, once they hear Krishna's name, then they're on the path. It will resonate with them. We just have to learn how to talk to almost anybody about Krishna. If it's in our heart that strongly, we have to open up. And whether it's our family members, anytime we see something we don't think is quite right, if we think it's going against God, we have to speak up or else we're duplicit. Text 34, the Blessed Lord said, all the great warriors, Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, are already destroyed. Simply fight and you will vanquish your enemies. So he mentioned Jayadratha here, which he hasn't mentioned very much, but Arjuna has some small doubts about Jayadratha's powers. And so he mentions Jayadratha just to ease Arjuna's mind a little bit. Purport, every plan is made by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he is so kind and merciful to his devotees that he wants to give the credit to his devotees who carry out his plan according to his desire. Because Krishna can make the whole world Krishna conscious, but he wants to give us a chance to do it. He wants to give you the credit. Because he wants to show you how powerful you are, how powerful is this soul that you have inside you, this atomic soul that's so powerful, and how powerful is super soul, Krishna, sitting next to your soul, to your Atma. He wants to give credit to his devotees, because he loves seeing his devotees happy, and his devotees, becoming his devotee is a very powerful position, because Krishna he loves his devotees with all of his heart. Life should therefore move in such a way that everyone acts in Krishna consciousness and understands the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the medium of a spiritual master. The plans of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are understood by his mercy, and the plans of the devotees are as good as his plans. One should follow such plans and be victorious in the struggle for existence. One should follow such plans and be victorious in the struggle for existence. So it's a struggle, it's a battle. But we have to be willing to fight. We have to be willing to take Krishna's plan. And, one may say, well, why do I have to submit to a spiritual master? Can't I just read the Bhagavad Gita as it is and read Srimad Bhagavatam and do all the things the devotees do? And can't I get to the same place? Well, the spiritual master knows you on a deep level, and spiritual master has seen the truth. And the spiritual master is a confidential servitor of Krishna himself. And so it's a connection, an unbroken line. You see all these wonderful pictures on the wall. It's an unbroken line from Krishna, Brahma, Madhava, Sri Chaitanya, Rupa Goswami, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, so all these acharyas, it's an unbroken line. And so we have to become part of that line. We have to submit to a spiritual master, because if we're not going to submit to a spiritual master, then how can we submit to Krishna, who's the supreme spiritual master? So it's a way to start going the right direction. It's a way to learn submission, devotion, submission. Things, we're taught to never submit. We should be independent. I would rather die than submit. But we all have to submit to things. We all have to submit to, everyone has to submit to death and time. We have to submit to certain things. So voluntary submission is powerful, because Krishna sees, they understand. They're starting to see my supremacy. They understand that they have to submit a little bit. And then the spiritual master can engage the disciple in so many wonderful ways and can give direct guidance. And it creates an unbroken bond. Text 35. 35. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna trembled, fearfully offered obeisances with folded hands, and began, falteringly, to speak as follows. Purport. As we have already explained, because of the situation created by the universal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna became bewildered and wondered. Thus he began to offer his respectful obeisances to Krishna again and again. And with faltering voice he began to pray, not as a friend, but as a devotee in wonder. So Sanjaya is saying this to Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra, the blind king who's encouraged this battle, and Sanjaya is seeing these things, and he's speaking these things to Dhritarashtra. So Sanjaya starts, the whole Gita starts with Sanjaya, with Dhritarashtra saying, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? What happened? What's going on? Dhritarashtra always wanted to be king. His brother, and he was brothers with Pandu and Vidura. And so there's some big family conflicts here. And these things are being resolved because Krishna will resolve all conflicts. He will help resolve all conflicts. You just have to submit to him, to his supremacy. Text 36. So here's some beautiful prayers from Arjuna. O Rishikesh, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid, and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done. So that's the first one, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 verses Arjuna glorifies the Supreme Lord. And he's really overcome. He's really overcome by emotion and awe. And purport. Arjuna, after hearing from Krishna about the outcome of the battle of Kurukshetra, became an enlightened devotee of the Supreme Lord. He admitted that everything done by Krishna is quite fit. Arjuna confirmed that Krishna is the maintainer and the object of worship for the devotees and the destroyer of the undesirables. His actions are equally good for all. Arjuna understood herein that when the battle of Kurukshetra was being concluded, in outer space there were present many demigods, siddhas, and the intelligentsia of the higher planets, and they were observing the fight because Krishna was present there. When Arjuna saw the universal form of the Lord, the demigods took pleasure in it, but others, who were demons and atheists, could not stand it when the Lord was praised. Out of their natural fear of the devastating form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they fled. Krishna's treatment of the devotees and the atheists is praised by Arjuna. In all cases, a devotee glorifies the Lord because he knows that whatever he does is good for all. So even if I'm going through something, even if I see something bad happens, is it still Krishna's plan? Yes, it's Krishna's plan. So we can get out of thinking, how bad I have it or how tough this predicament is. It's just like, Krishna, show me how to act. Show me what to do to get out of this predicament. I know that it's not good or bad. It's just your plan. And so it's all good. And so I have to see it like that. And we can train ourselves to think like that. We can train ourselves to think of Krishna from within and without any selfish motive. Nishkama Karma Yoga. Text 37. O Great One, who stands above even Brahma, you are the original master. Why should they not offer their homage up to you, O limitless one? O refuge of the universe, you are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material manifestation. The cause of all causes. So sometimes you see a cause and an effect. Sometimes we just see the effect and we might say, well, what was the cause of this? Why did that happen? He is the cause of all causes. Every cause. Purport. By this offering of obeisances, Arjuna indicates that Krishna is worshipable by everyone. He is all-pervading, and he is the soul of every soul. Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Mahatma, which means that he is most magnanimous and unlimited. Ananta indicates that there is nothing which is not covered by the influence and energy of the Supreme Lord. And Devesha means that he is the controller of all demigods and is above them all. He is the center of the whole universe. Arjuna also thought that it was fitting that all the perfect living entities and all powerful demigods offered their respectful obeisances unto him, because no one is greater than him. He especially mentions that Krishna is greater than Brahma, because Brahma is created by him. Brahma is born out of the lotus stem grown from the navel abdomen of Garbhodakashagi Vishnu, who is Krishna's plenary expansion. Therefore Brahma and Lord Shiva, who was born of Brahma, and all other demigods must offer their respectful obeisances. Thus the Lord is respected by Lord Shiva and Brahma and similar other demigods. The word Aksharam is very significant because this material creation is subject to destruction, but the Lord is above this material creation. He is the cause of all causes, and being so, he is superior to all the conditioned souls within this material nature, as well as the material cosmic manifestation itself. He is therefore the all-great supreme. Aksharam, 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 Aksharam. Imperishable. Srila Prabhupada defines Aksharam as imperishable. So he is superior to all the conditioned souls. So Krishna is superior to every single soul out there. So we can just remember that Krishna is the supreme, he's above everyone. Maybe I'm having a small disagreement with someone or something. Well, Krishna is above myself and the other person. And we can talk to Krishna and find solutions like that. And we can chant the Maha Mantra and like that, and just put time into it. When we put some time into Krishna consciousness, Krishna gives us 100 times back, get the results back. So it's like adding money to a spiritual bank account. So focus a lot on adding money to your spiritual bank account. And don't worry so much about the material things. It's not so important. Bhagavad Gita as it is, ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.